Thomas lived in a cozy little cottage, surrounded by a garden filled with flowers and fruit trees. He didn't have much, but what he had, he shared. When travelers came by, tired and hungry, Thomas always offered them a place to rest and some of his garden's fresh fruit. When the winter winds howled through the village, he'd give away his own blankets to keep others warm. But one winter was especially harsh. Snow covered the fields, and the village's crops failed. People were scared and worried. They began to hoard whatever little food they had. But not Thomas. He continued to share what little he had, even though he, too, had very little left. One evening, as Thomas was about to eat the last piece of bread he had, there came a knock at his door. It was a frail, shivering woman. "Please, can you spare me some food?" she asked, her voice trembling. Without a second thought, Thomas invited her in, sat her by the fire, and gave her his last piece of bread. The woman looked at him and asked, "Why are you giving away your last piece of food? What will you eat?" Thomas smiled warmly and said, "When you give with a kind heart, you create more for everyone, including yourself. Generosity is the secret to abundance." Just then, something incredible happened. Outside in his garden, the old, barren oak tree suddenly began to bloom. It was a sight to behold, its branches filled with the juiciest, most golden fruits anyone had ever seen. The news spread quickly, and soon the entire village gathered around the miraculous tree, amazed at what they saw. And, just like that, there was enough food for everyone in the village to last until spring. The villagers cheered, hugged one another, and thanked Thomas. They had learned something valuable that day. In times of trouble, the answer isn't to hold on tighter, but to open our hearts wider. From that day on, the village thrived, and the spirit of generosity spread like wildfire. They realized that true wealth wasn't in gold or in grain. It was in the giving hearts of people like the ancient old man, Thomas. So remember, dear friends, no matter how big or small, each act of kindness you give can create miracles, just like Thomas did in his little village. The more you give, the more you receive. The world always needs a little more kindness, and it starts with each of us. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that warm the heart and inspire the soul. See you next time.